light. Welcome to Forfellingness Belly Snake Illumination from the Ancestors, guiding your path today.
Every day, someone's little girl, daughter, sister, girlfriend, fiancé, wife, cousin, mother, auntie, grandmother, great-grandmother, elder, disappears, shattering a family, a community, the world. There is something we can all do. Remember them.
Good morning and happy Money's Day to you. I hope today we get started with just a wonderful energy and excitement for this week, because you know it's going to be a great week. Today we're talking about a new dawn, talking about using the energy of Frigg. Frigg, of course, being the mother goddess of all, wife and queen, certainly wife to the Norse god Odin. But we're talking about weaving a new path today. And I want us to seriously think and seriously contemplate what that means. Before we get started today, I do want to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to all of you who like, followed, and subscribed us on all the many platforms, whether it be audio or video, everywhere that we're distributed. And I want to say how much I appreciate you and thank you so much. If you haven't got the chance, now is a great opportunity to hit that like, follow, subscribe button. Join just a wonderful group of individuals who are looking to change their lives, looking to understand the energies of this world and to obtain a better mental health. So hit the button. As always, in addition, I hope that you will check out my wonderful friends and family at newrealitytv, newrealitytv.com. There's a wonderful streaming channel that has a plethora of spiritual perspectives that hopefully will resonate with you and help you move to your next level along your path and bring you joy, peace, comfort, and hopefully the almighty energy of hope. Well, for those of you who may be more interested in me, my shows, my teachings, and certainly all things about me, including my life coaching services, you're also welcome to check out my website, NorseWhispers.com. There you can find out all kinds of information about me, including the opportunity to ask questions. And if I do make a question about, or I do make a show about your question, rather, I will go ahead and send you a free t-shirt. So it's a win-win. You get an answer, and you get a free t-shirt that you can keep and wear. So check that out again, NorseWhispers.com. Today we're talking about weaving a new path. And what does that mean? Well, that means that we're intentionally going our own direction. We're not subscribing to kind of that victim mentality. We're not accepting things as they are. We are deciding to choose joy, peace, harmony, happiness, over all those other things that want to come into our lives and create chaos and that which we don't want. So we've spoken many times about this idea that we kind of control how we see the world. We control how we receive influential energies and what influential energies we allow to actually manipulate our thought process and certainly our emotional chemistry creation. And this can be no more evident as we witness things that trigger certain emotional energies within us and create emotional states that we may or may not be wanting to have. So there's a couple of things there. So let's think about that for a minute. And really, I want us to stop and think about waking up early in the morning. We're going to work or we're going to school. And we wake up in the morning. And when we awake, our bodies are tired. We feel like we didn't get enough sleep. We're dragging. We're really suffering. And we can wake up and we can maintain that thought process. We can just allow it to just keep going and just keep running our lives. Or we decide we can change. Now, one of the greatest ways that I've seen many people find success here is as the mirror, bathroom mirror, when brushing our teeth, shaving in the morning, doing whatever in the mirror. We have an affirmation, and affirmations can be very powerful things because sometimes we're looking at them and we can absorb that influential energy to help us kind of reestablish this space of joy, of peace, of happiness, and kind of push out those negativities, those unwanted energies. At the same time, some of those times, it can be subliminal. Now, subliminal, for those of you not familiar with subliminal, it essentially means that you saw it, but you didn't really pay attention to it. You really didn't focus our primary view on that thing, but yet, because your brain accepts all of the input that it sees, so we're talking about visuals here, so in visuals, it accepts it all, whether we are focusing on it or not, all right? So if you think of a picture, right, and then this part is what we focused on, but this part is what our brain brings in. So our brain brings in a little bit more, well, a lot more than what we're focused on, right? So we have a little bit, brain brings in a lot. And within this can be subliminal programming. Now, for those of you who may be a little older, you probably remember back in the day, way back there, that they tried subliminal programming on TV. And so what they would do is they would put one frame in a movie, all right? So 30 frames a second. That's the standard kind of movie magic, if you will. 30 frames in a second. And within maybe 2 of those frames, you would have a message, something, whatever it is, okay? Buy Bob's Hamburgers. 2 lines. And because the brain can pick up those things, it did, and you get this thought that kind of winds up in the brain. Now, this is subliminal programming. And it happened back in the 70s until, of course, the FCC found out about it and then kiboshed it, took it out. But ultimately, this is the kind of the idea of these affirmations or subliminal affirmations, in that we're shaving, we're doing our morning routine, and this thought, little statement that's there on the mirror, enters into our processing in much the same way that those screens did in the 70s. We are accepting this programming that then our brain processes. So, in much the same way, we're simply going to give ourselves the affirmation to find joy, to find peace. I have a very old friend of mine who's now passed. I only communicate with him now through the spiritual realm, but when he was here in the physical realm, he used to have this wonderful saying, and I told him I stole it, so all's fair. His saying was, what you actively seek, you will find. So if our brain is programmed to find those unwanted things, those negative energies, those maybe not so pleasant thoughts, that's what it will find, because they are abundant in the physical realm. We'll find them everywhere. Okay? But if we seek that of love, of comfort, of peace, of joy, of happiness, that too is abundant. And so what we actively seek, we will find, he used to say. And he was absolutely right. He was absolutely right. That which we actively seek, we set our minds to, we will find. if we come out of our house in the morning on our way to work and we are not setting our mind to finding beauty, joy, love, harmony, peace, comfort, contentment, we will find whatever we have our mind set to find. Conversely, if we do come out of the house and we realize what a gift life is, what a blessing this morning is, all of these things, we will find those things. We will find opportunities along our journey towards work or school that represent that are truly representative of those that ambition, that goal. All right. So the goal then is, as we wake up in the morning, that first 90 minutes, that's what we're going to do. And we have a brand new week. We're here on Mani's Day, and Frigg is teaching us to weave our own path, to weave, to put together strings in such a way that we may make a tapestry of that which we want. Remember, the sewer of a tapestry gets to choose what color thread they're passing through. They get to choose what the pattern is, right? So they can decide, oh, I want a blue line here, or I want a red line, or yellow, or a wonderful color of the gods. So we get to choose. And in much the same way, so too do we choose how the threads that we are going to receive on our way to work, on our way to school, that first part of the day where we're kind of setting the tone. We're setting how our brain is going to interpret the reality at which we live, the reality at which we experience. They have done many scientific and medical community tests where they say, oh, if, depending on what mood you are in, is how you see the world. And how do we test that? Well, we simply have a group of people, a random group of people or random places in their lives experience an event. Then we have them simply retell the event. Well, if you had 9 people who were to witness this event, you would have 9 different explanations of the event. Why? Not because everyone's standing from a different angle, although that is a part, but because they're in different places to see the event, right? So, as an example, if 9 people were to be standing around and witnessed a car accident, 9 people would have 9 different interpretations. Now, you would have the individual who may have some form of resentment against the style of car that was involved in the accident. They may have a resentment against the individual who was driving that car. They may have some fears about car accidents in general. Maybe they've had one themselves, and it's kind of frightening. All of these different people are going to interpret that event differently. They're coming from a very different place. Now, remember, when we talk about the thought process and actually creating emotional energies, and we're talking about our interpretations of that energy, that interpretation is based on our DNA. What makes us biologically us, okay? That DNA is involved in transmitting this energy that we've converted, right? Because we see our eyes and convert that to bioelectricity, we pass it over the optic nerve through the thought process into emotional response, and then we're going to translate all of that into additional energies that we're going to hopefully manage before it winds up in our memories to become our imagination, which will then feed into the the following experiences, right? So it's kind of this cycle. When we think about that energy being created, right? So we've processed it through our eye. We've converted it to bioelectricity. Imagination's already been added. And so we're going to pass through the mood ring. Mood ring is going to alter that energy. We're going to highlight certain things out of the experience. And we're going to pass that then down to what my ancestors refer to as the well of the self. And the well of the self is going to pass through the tumultuous of our waters of our thought process, eventually winding up in our values, virtues, and beliefs, where it's then converted into biochemistry. Biochemistry then passes through the body back to the brain, where the brain then interprets that biochemistry back into bioenergy or bioelectricity. As it's transmitting or passing around this collection of biochemistry, that biochemistry interacts with the biochemistry already in the body. Your standard, just cookie cutter, not thinking about anything, just processing energy. Now, that energy can be altered by, say, mind-altering substances. So if we had a few extra drinks, or we had a few extra tokes, all of those things are going to affect how that biochemistry makes its way back up to the brain, where the brain then interprets that biochemistry back into bioenergy. This allows you the only place in all of existence to create this biochemistry, or this new emotional state. Because that's what's going to happen, is this biochemistry is going to come up and it's going to be converted. And when it's converted back into bioelectricity, one of the first things that's going to occur is we're going to hit this thing called the recipe card. Okay, I call it the recipe card. And the recipe card is essentially our brain's way of identifying particular compositions of energy as emotional states. So, in other words, I'm converted, right? I converted the biochemistry to bioenergy. Now I'm going to look at the bioenergy and go, well, according to this composition of energy is happiness. So I'm happy. I'm going to provide additional energy because we're happy. We're going to provide additional energy to that converted energy before passing it through this thing called the me gate. All of these processes are our normal way of doing things. That's how we think. It's how emotion is included in all of our thoughts. Believe it or not, whether we decide to baseline and just not be emotional and not be this and be almost like, what was his name? Spock from Star Trek, who all logic, no emotion. Humans can't do that. Humans, we require an emotional part of the equation, right? Some of these emotional parts will be really high energy, and these will be these ideas or thoughts or memories that quote unquote trigger us in the future. All right. So back to our 9 people watching the accident, all of these people have different chemistry within their body. They're different at the DNA level, and they may be in a different emotional state, thereby altering the energy created differently. As I mentioned, we could have some kind of fears about it. We could have some kind of prejudices against it. There's all kinds of things that kind of lead us to interpreting the experience differently. All right? I'm going to take a real quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk about how you and I can make sure that we are seeing reality and that we are weaving, as Frigg points out for us this morning, we are weaving the tapestry that we want to have. So we'll be right back after this quick commercial, and we'll get after a plan that can help us on our way.
The air. The time is now.
We're all waking up.
We're waking up.
We're all waking up.
It's all shifting.
New vibrations.
It's you.
It's you.
It's me.
It's all of us.
Together.
A new time.
A new day.
A new energy.
A new energy.
New reality.
Awaken with us.
Awaken with us.
Awaken with us.
newrealitytv.com.
Welcome back. Thank you for taking that quick break with me. As always, I am honored and proud to be a part of the New Reality family, and I hope that you will check them out too. A wonderful collection of spiritual perspectives that hopefully will resonate with you and provide you with some steps forward that you can take in your own life to find that peace and that comfort. Today we're talking about Frigg, and we're talking about weaving our own path forward, weaving an understanding of our experiences that certainly resonates very clearly and very, very true to how we need to live. So, before we went to break, we were talking about how do we kind of set that tone? How do we frame our interpretation of our experiences so that we are living the life that we want to live? So let's talk about, as we mentioned during the show, we mentioned about kind of setting the tone of being able to witness the experiences that we have in our lives and to actually frame them in such a way that it is what we want. So let's talk about what that looks like. Well, I mentioned affirmations. So affirmations are a great opportunity here to help set the tone. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little test of our own systems. And we're going to take the first 90 minutes of each day. So we're up, we're awake, we're alert, we're out of bed. And if we find ourselves in that grumpy mood, if, we didn't get enough sleep, the bed was uncomfortable last night, whatever the case may be, and we wake up, we have the opportunity at that moment to set the tone. If we decide to allow the that grumpy mood to continue, that's setting the tone. Or we take charge and we say, nope, I don't believe you. I am going to have a great day today. I am going to see beauty. I'm going to see harmony. I'm going to see love all around me. And that's what I'm going to see. And I'm going to set my mind to that. Now, affirmations are a great way to do that. We get up, we're creaky, and it's just been a long night. As we walk into the bathroom ready to brush our teeth and get on with the day, we got that affirmation down there in the bottom of the mirror that says, today is going to be a great day. Great day. Today. Now, we have two choices. We can either we can allow that to subliminally program us by continuing to shave and brush teeth, wash face, brush hair, whatever we're doing in the mirror. And we can allow that subliminal programming to just kind of come in with our image processing and allow us to set our tone. Or we can consciously shift our perspective. Remember, we always have a choice. This thing at the end of our thought process is called the me gate. And the me gate, its whole job is to allow us to not subscribe to something. So if we decide, as in a generational hate situation where our parents have taught us to dislike certain people, certain places, certain things, whatever the case, and we choose not to. We recognize the beauty of that thing or that person or that place, and we recognize what a gift that is to humanity. Excuse me. And so we decide, no, we're not going to subscribe to this previous thought process. This is the me gate in action. This is what the me gate does. The me gate says, no, I have a choice. Each and every one of us have a choice. And we can choose to not subscribe to that. Or we simply allow the gate to remain open. And everything that comes into bioenergy again from biochemistry, remember the conversion, and everything that passes through on its way to memory, we just kind of allow it to happen. Okay? This is, unfortunately, this is very popular. I wouldn't say popular. I will say very often this is how many people subscribe to life, is they just kind of allow things to happen. Or we simply say, close the gate and go, nope. We choose happiness. This is a perspective change, right? And we can do this anytime we want, on anything we want. So if we've been doing it this way our whole life and we decide, no, we're done, we change, right? And this is, of course, where strength of mind and focus and those kinds of things come in play. But nonetheless, we have that choice. And staring at that affirmation, we can decide today is going to be a great day. We're setting the tone. As we go through our first 90 minutes of the day, we're going to kind of look at our experiences that we're having, and we're going to pick out, we're going to actively seek that which brings us joy. We are going to think to ourselves, wow, that's beautiful. Wow, that's really convenient. Wow, look, I just got a green light and a light that's typically red. What a gift. Or I got a red light. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to think about what I'm going to do today, how my day is going to unfold, right? So I'm using that time to process my day. So there's just so many differences as we change our perspective from a neutral or a negative to a positive. One of the other things that's really exciting about this mentality or this thought process is that it's infectious. So if I go into a coffee shop, because I'm getting my morning coffee on my way to work, and I decide, you know what, I'm in a great mood, I'm finding all the things that are beautiful and happy, I'm actively seeking joy. As I'm standing in line in the coffee shop, I'm affecting other people around me who are receiving my energy, right? Because remember, whatever we feel, we emit. So those around us who can feel that are going to feel it, right? And those who may not be cognizant of it are going to receive it as well, because you're just like a beacon, right? And you're kind of beaming this light out in every direction. So, big key here is set the tone. You're in charge. You get to make that decision. Make it. Make it for your advantage. Find happiness. Find joy. Actively seek joy, and you will find it. Today we celebrate Frigg, and we celebrate weaving our own path. So I hope today, as you get started and your 90 minutes are occurring, that you're actually actively seeking joy, actively looking for those things that bring you peace and comfort, and you will set that tone for your day. And not only today, but as the start of a new week, we can set our tone for the whole week by starting today, by encouraging ourselves to seek happiness, actively seeking happiness, and you will find it. Well, I hope you have a wonderful Money's Day, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. In the meantime, for those of you who have questions or have looking for understanding, by all means, please check out my website again at norsewhispers.com. And as always, we will see you again bright and early tomorrow, where we will embrace the courage of tear and get on with being who we are meant to be, seeking our destiny. Love and light, my friends.
In the air.
Good watching. Fulfillina's Belly Snake, a special production of Whispers of the Norse. Brought to you by the Alaska akulfhednar in South Central Alaska. Guidance and wisdom, courtesy of an ancient Celtic Norse shaman. Thank you so much for joining us today.